Good evening, everybody. This is Helen Chin Lu from the Healing Place Energy School. My buddy, my partner, Robin Bornstein, is out ill tonight. And I'm like, oh man, it's nothing like being surprised. And I'm very, very thankful that I have the ability to flip the switch and go on by myself. So, how is everyone doing tonight? Been thinking about. I'm so blessed. First of all, thank you so much for being a part of the audience. And tonight we are going to do a Reiki I would say Reiki energy healing questions that you might have about your soul, because that's tonight's topic. And I'm thinking maybe I'll throw in, if we have time, questions about reflexology, but I would like to usually stay on course when I decide on the topic, because I just find it absolutely fascinating. As I have begun last March, I developed a 17-part class series called First Step to Your Spiritual Journey. And it's all about your awakening process, especially as an empath. Living in your skin becomes uncomfortable because something is calling you to live out your life purpose and ask you, are you ready? Are you ready to begin this journey? And as I was doing this 17-part class series, we start off with the awakening process, and then we jump into learning what is your life purpose? Why are you here? And one of the subjects that I really love is about learning about the soul. And the soul is about, who are you? Excuse me as I'm fidgeting around. Who are you? Why are you here? We all want to know why we're here, because one of my biggest fears when I was in my 20s and I was beginning my life purpose work, I knew there was a reason why I was here. I did not know what it was. And one of the things that I was really afraid of, that I was going to live and die and do nothing in between. And I think there's a lot of people out there feel the same way, especially now. Over the 67 years of my life, what I've noticed, that the world is becoming very populated, and there's so many more of us than ever before. And what I was taught as we learned about souls when I was in energy medicine school, there were three types of souls. There is what I call the young souls, the mature soul, like me, and the I would call, what do you call it, old souls. So the young souls comprise of, let's say, it is said that we live 10,000 lives. Out of the 10,000 lives, the first 3,300 is focused on your infancy soul. Those are the people, when I think of young souls, I think about people who have a tough time getting their act together. They're really in some ways lost. They feel like they have a place, but they don't know exactly what it is. Hello, Vanessa. Oh, thank you for joining me from South Africa. Feel free to put in questions, because this is one of my favorite subjects about souls. And as I'm about to explain, it is believed, and I don't have concrete facts, that we live 10,000 lives. And the first 3,300 is about young souls, and you're trying to get your act together. You're trying to figure out what's your purpose here. Why are you born? And a lot of times what I see in young souls, they're kind of troubled souls, because they're trying to figure out where they are at. Where are they going? Why are they here? The mature soul, another 3,300, I'm going to call myself a mature soul. Mature souls most of the time do not struggle as much as young souls. In other words, I know what bothers me, and I'm willing to work at it. Because a lot of times with young souls, they're just like a dog. They go round and around and around, and they're always in a stuck cycle. I, as a mature soul, know why I am stuck. And yet I recognize it, and I'm willing to do something about it to break out of the cycle. And then there's the old soul, which is the last 3,300. Oh, coming back. So where I am in the 3,300, I would say I'm more than halfway past the midpoint. So I'm thinking around maybe around 1,600, maybe around 1,800, because there's a lot of things I just don't waste my time, nor do I worry about, because a lot of the ego inside of us waste our time and keep us in fear. All right. So one of the things, when I start to get fearful or doubtful, I come back into my soul and say, hey, what's up? All right. This is really important, something to check in. So your last 3,300 lives is about, okay, I have arrived. What am I going to do with this? So instead of investing a lot of crazy thoughts, no matter which way, which path you choose to go, you're going to end up in the same place. So why waste time, right? So the outcome is going to be the outcome regardless if you put a lot of energy into it or no energy into it, because you're going to arrive at the same destination. So think about Vanessa, let's say. Where are you in your soul contract? Do you, as a young soul, do you go over in your mind the same silly things because you're caught in a cycle of fear and you're thinking, oh my gosh. And with me, like, yes, this whole week I've been frustrated with my website, the Healing Place Energy School. It's down. And I'm trying really hard not to go into the young soul mind and start thinking, why is this happening to me? Instead, I'm thinking, you know what? I'll come back to quiet. All right. So let's talk about what makes up a soul. You forgive me. I'm one of those people. I like to write notes so I have something to pertain to. So a soul right here is made out of spirit. This is what you are sensing and feeling. So it's not organized religion. It's who are you? What makes you you? And matter. Matter is what you touch. This is matter. Spirit and matter cannot live without the other, and you need both in order to make up you. And the soul is created at conception. From the moment you are conceived, your soul has been downloaded into your mother's womb, into your cellular programming, and here you are. And it is believed that the soul lives many lives, as we just said, approximately 10,000 lives. And as the planet is being populated with more people than ever before, from my observation, there's a lot of young souls on the planet. How do you know? Conflict. So if you remember watching Star Trek, Dr. Spock, everybody where Dr. Spock came from were old souls. Because what's the sense of fighting? Whatever you decide to do, the end result is going to be the same. So why waste unnecessary energy by feeding into the ego? So how do you keep your soul intact? You got to feed it every day with healthy energy. So a lot of times when you start to get into a mindset of silliness or stupidness, that's what I call it, because your brain, your ego will keep you at a lower vibration. And by recognizing this, I always tell people it takes a lot of courage to break out of the cycle, because your ego wants to keep you in a lower vibration, because what will happen to the ego if you no longer need it? This is really key. The ego has good sides to it, and it also has a negative aspect to it. The positive aspect of the ego will say, hey, you're doing so good. Keep up with the work. The negative side of the ego will say, you suck. Why do you think you deserve this? You need to stop and evaluate what makes you special. Well, we are all special. So a lot of times, the soul has two aspects. There's the outer soul, is what you sense every single day, who you come in contact with, who you talk to, who feeds your soul, whose souls do you feed? And there's the inner soul. Your inner soul is yours and yours alone. So there's going to be a balance of the stimulus that you feel outside to feed your inner soul. By learning to understand where the balance is, it's going to help you to determine who are you? What are you? What are you willing to do about this? And how do you grow? Because what happens when there is conflict could be the worker, let's say your coworker, not that many of us are in the office nowadays, is bugging the hell out of you. And let's say your manager is like saying your work is not up to par, blah, blah, blah. And instead of taking the criticism as something that will help you to grow, you take that energy and make it a negative aspect. And all of a sudden, your energy is crashing. Mm-hmm. Really crashing. So, one of the things you have to understand, are you being helped or are you sabotaging yourself? This is something that's really important to determine. I'm one of those people. I learn from everybody and everything. No experience that comes my way is by accident. I don't care how old you are. If you're like 5 years old or you're 90 years old, it doesn't matter. I learn from everybody because everyone will, they have their own personal experience and no one will feel things just exactly the same way. So my experience, even though you and I might have the same experience, but we will process it differently because our soul, depending on where you are in your evolution, will tell you, hey, this is really great. This is going to feed into your current life, or perhaps is preparing you for an elevation. It all depends on your ego, where you are at in this moment, and how do you interpret the information to serve you. Now, does that make sense? This is really key. And the more you understand this, you won't build up what I call psychic toxin. Yes, psychic toxin is about, oh, you have hurt my feelings. You suck. So instead of attacking that person, can you look inwardly how this information is really in front of your face right this minute? What do you want to do with it? Do you want to grow from it? Or do you want to go into your defenses? Because this is what's going to hurt your soul. Because lessons are given to you for a reason. None of it is, I call, a coincidence. And especially, I have somebody that I've been working with this week, the last several weeks. She's a lovely young woman, and she has begun her awakening process. She's an old soul, but unfortunately, there's nobody in her family can give her guidance how to go from step to step. And I won't say, I can't say complete the awakening process, because the awakening process could take many lives, depending on what you are willing to learn to support your soul purpose. So Vanessa says she's an overthinker, anxious, and say fears making the wrong moves all the time and doubting myself. If business is slow, it's my fault. Well, okay, I'm going to answer. This is really a good thing that most people, especially women, we have a tendency to overthink. And what is overthinking? It's about controlling the outcome. We want a outcome that we like. I remember my husband would say, I would ask him for his opinion. And if it was an answer I didn't like, I would keep asking him, constantly asking him. And he says, why do you keep coming back and asking me the same question? I am not going to give you an answer that you're looking for. And then I'm like, and why not? Because the answer he was giving me is to stretch me outside of my soul comfort. And in order to grow, you have to go out of that comfort level. I don't care who you are. No one's exempt from the club. I don't care how spiritual you are. I don't care if you're on your 8,000 lives. You know what? you still got lessons to learn. All right. Which really sucks. And, as Vanessa was saying, I remember, here's a great story I want to share with you. I remember, I've been doing this professionally for 15 years, 2006. I'm very proud of my achievements and accomplishments. It took a lot of guts to get to where I am. I work really, really hard. I still work very hard. In fact, I work every day. If I'm not doing hands-on business, I'm doing a lot of what I call the back end work. Like, I consider this, as much as I love talking to you all, but I consider this back end work because I want to teach you, because I can't have everyone come to the healing place in Medfield. So I decided to share my knowledge with the planet. And at this point, as an old lady of 67, I have a lot to share. Anyways, I remember when I first started a business in 2006, I was deathly afraid. At the time, nobody in Massachusetts, very few people in Massachusetts, USA, knew what reflexology was. Reiki was kind of be known. Forget about chakra balance, and nobody knew what that was. And the only three questions prospective clients used to ask me: what is it? Does insurance cover it? But no one ever asked me, how is this going to benefit me? And so usually I start with question number 3 and work my way back. So I go 3, 1, and then come back to 2. And the 2 is make an investment. So it probably took me 7 years to build my best business to the point where I would say it's consistent. But once I got to the 7th year, my biggest fear came, and all of a sudden I'm thinking, all right, my soul is being tested. How am I going to maintain this level of growth? And whenever I got fearful, I could pretty much tell you how many people were going to cancel that week. And the magic number back 8 years ago was 6. I always had 6 cancellation. And the reason why I don't know why the number 6, but I know why people were canceling is because I was radiating what I call desperate energy. Really desperate energy, like, how am I going to pay the bills? How am I going to do that? One of the key things that I could tell you, Vanessa, which is maybe really hard to do, is to let go. Really let go. The more you hold on, the more what happens is you're going to radiate desperate energy. The more desperate you are, you're going to repel people. And not only that, your soul would never live its life purpose because your ego is telling you why you suck and why you don't deserve this. By breaking the cycle, how do you do this? Learning not to give in to your fears. Whenever you start to have fears, this is really important that I need everyone to do. When you begin to have fears, you got to ask yourself, how is this serving me? How is this feeling serving me? How is this thought serving me? Is it keeping me stagnant? Is it pushing me back? Or is this pushing me forward? Because one thing I know about growth, it could only happen when you're scared. So you could either go to the right or you could go to the left. It's your choice. People say, well, how do I get the universe to support me? You got to remember about the universe. The universe does not know what's right or wrong. It only supports you whatever you're asking. So if you're radiating a lot of fears, it's going to give you more assignments to learn how to overcome your fears. Does that make sense? So the more you learn to push away the fear, how many times is it going to take? 10,000 times. Literally 10,000 times. And when you start to get scared, push away, get up, get up, get up. So the first 2 years of my business, when nobody knew what I did, how am I going to pay the bills? I was having a meltdown every single day. Every single day. In fact, my husband couldn't understand why I was so fearful. And the fear, what it is, was it became the feeling of how am I going to succeed? And then it became the fear of how am I going to sustain this? So now 15 years later, I'm going, how am I going to keep up? It really amazes me how fear has evolved over 15 years. But you have to jump through the hoops, each and every one. And people always say, well, once I begin my awakening process, will it get easier? The answer is no. In fact, it's harder. Because this is what I teach clients who come to me at the healing place. Let's say you are at the soul level here, and the universe wants you to come here. Guess what? You need the lesson to be able to come here and sustain it here. If you don't have the lessons here, you will not have it here, and you definitely won't have it here, and up here, you will crash. You see this every single day with celebrities who went to fame really quick, and they have nothing to support their soul in their what they need to do to make them feel good and not be in conflict of who they are. Because one thing about this work I've noticed, so many of us give away our power every single day. We give it to the post person if we can, because we want somebody to tell us what is the right thing to do. Think about this when you, let's say your parent, your husband, girlfriend. Think about what we do every day. We're constantly asking other people's permission. We're asking for their permission. Is this the right avenue to go? And your soul is telling you what to do. And usually when in growth, there's a stretch. And what happens during that stretch, it's pushing you out of your comfort zone. Growth can only happen outside of your comfort zone. It will never happen if you can control every single outcome. So when I get scared, I still get scared. I always tell people, I'm only a little bit further away down the road than you are. I've just bought into my journey, really bought into my journey, because nothing has been a coincidence. And especially for those people who spend so much time taking care of others, you're really telling yourself, I'm going to say this, Vanessa, you're telling yourself you're not worth your own time. Really think about that, because this is something I talk about in the first step of your spiritual journey, and even my book, Know Your Chakra. Where's my book? Okay, here. Know Your Chakra and Understanding Your Energy Flow. It's all about accepting who you are, your flaws, your powers, everything about you, coming back to who you are, living your life purpose. Because one of the things that we learned when I was in energy medicine school is in your next life, if you choose to come back and live another life, you are going to come back exactly where you left off. So if you left with a lot of doubts and chaos, fears, guess what? Guess what's waiting for you in your next life? More fears, more doubts, more of everything, because the lessons are going to become harder. If you want to, let's say, catch that golden ring. I don't have a golden ring in front of me, but if you want to catch that golden ring, you got to do the work. Because again, if you don't have it here, you will not have it here. I'm going to tell you that right now. And I have walked through so many fires over the last, I would say, 20 years. It's not funny. And the only one who's really judging me through the fires is me. not your spouse, not your parents. In the end of every journey, it's only you and perhaps God. By understanding where you fit into your life is going to be key. Do you put yourself on top of the list? Do you live your life purpose? Um, do you check in with your soul to see how it's doing? What do you need? Simple question is as you sit quietly, what do you need today? You're going to treat yourself. This is my chapter that I have, and my last chapter is how do you become your own best friend? I think that's more like lesson number N. How do you become your own best friend? Because and the last lesson is about how do you do not run out of your incredible powers, because you've got to replenish your powers every day. Oh yeah, I love this. Yes, that's right. Lesson number 8. How would you treat yourself? How would you treat yourself if you were your own best friend? Would you treat yourself? Would you treat you the way you would treat your best friend outside of you, outside of your soul? Like crap? So this is something I ask of you. You're the only one could deem yourself worthy. Don't let anyone take your powers. Don't let anyone tell you why you are here. The discovery could be empowering, but you got to take this step. You have to take the step if this is sincerely what you want to do. I'm one of those people who really believe anyone can achieve anything in whatever's within your reality. Your reality, not my reality of you, your reality of yourself. So think about where you are. Start off with, this is what I do with clients and also at the Heal in Place Energy School as I'm developing courses. Ask yourself, where do you fit into your life? I want you to make a list, because all of a sudden you might be remembering, but next week is another situation and then you forget. What are you willing to do to, let's say you break down your list. Let's say you got 5 items on your list. Take one. Take one of those items and then break it down even smaller steps, how to get there. So if you need to spend time, do research, spend money, get yourself educated, do what you need to do to get there, because your soul will tell you if you're willing to listen to it. More people ignore what's going on in here. They rather listen to their friend. Da, 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 da. So we give away our powers to somebody else. Listen to in here. I know what this work. I was meant to do this work. If you told me that I would be speaking globally, I would write books maybe 25 years ago, I would have told you were crazy. They saw something in me that I did not see in me. I was always told by somebody else, you don't have what it takes. If you bought into that, then you have lost. You could do anything you choose in this life, but make a choice and take the necessary steps to take that first step. All right. This is your first step of your spiritual journey. I'm going to put the link in the box below if that's something you want to take. Unfortunately, the Heal in Place Energy School website is doing funky things and I'm trying to get corrected. You're the only one could grow in here. Don't wait for someone to give you permission, because you may not get it in this lifetime. All right, honey buns? I hope this is some solid, concrete information. And I'll be back next Tuesday night. I haven't thought about what subject I would like to talk about next week. If there's something you would like us to talk about, please feel free to jump in, put something in the box. So today, I'm going to end with, I want you to celebrate your soul. I don't care how big it is or how little it is. It doesn't matter. Celebrate that soul. You're the only one who has it. Use it. Be of service. It doesn't necessarily mean to be of service to somebody else. Even be of service to you. All right. If you feel like you can't get up today, get up tomorrow. You keep getting up, even if it's for the 5,000 times. You keep getting up, and you will make it, because this will tell your ego, I no longer need you that way. All right, honey buns, there's a lot to practice. Give me a thumbs up, give me a heart, subscribe. What else am I supposed to follow me, like me? What else? All the propaganda that goes with social media. I sincerely want you to be the very best version of you. There's nobody on the planet like you. Don't waste another breath in fear, because it will rob you of everything you have, your happiness, your joy, and it will also rob you of your health. Be well, God bless, stay safe, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye-bye, honey buns.